Welcome back to ESA Cup Season 6. It is the semi-finals. We already have one of those matches on Monday. Now we have the second semi-final between MDF and Team QuQ. I'm Pasta, joined by Poobal to this side of me. There we go. First time, baby. And
Hell yeah.
we're going to be bringing you through this match.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very anticipated one. You've got MDF almost at that finals, this kind of team that started off on a bit of an upset all the way back in groups, taking down Entropy, and they've just kept on this warpath, not dropping a single map so far. So can they keep it going?
Well, that is the question. Can they keep it going? And let's just have a look at that sort of run from MDF a little bit more, because their statistics are incredibly impressive, Joe, all the way from groups.
Yeah, they really have. They didn't lose a single map in those said groups, only going overtime once, and that was against Entropy, who had just come off winning the previous season. They have outlived Entropy so far, so they've already definitely secured themselves as the better team. Then we head off into playoffs. They went into that in that top seed, first in their Group C. In playoffs, only dropping 4 rounds through the entire system. A clean 3-0 win is really just unbelievable. And then they just go all the way here to finals, 2 back-to-back 7-4s against Tracker Clan. They've looked absolutely unstoppable so far. They really have. They're on this complete, just sort of dominating journey, and I really don't think QuQ are going to stop that, if I'm being perfectly honest here.
Oh, we're going for predictions already. Let's just have a look at QuQ then, because their story is a little bit shakier. They came through inside of Group B. They came 4th in that group, so sort of just scraping by into playoffs with 2 wins and 3 losses. That's an 8-7 loss to Minions, a 7-3 loss to E-Wave, a forfeit win against a forfeit loss against Empire, a forfeit win against Team Nemesis, and then a 7-1 win against Disco Pogo by Votes and Gaming. So a little bit rocky through that group stage. Then we transitioned to the playoffs. They kind of came through actually finding a little bit of form. 7-4 win against E-Wave. They had lost to Team Misclick, who, are by no means a bad team. And then a 7-3 win against Empire and a 7-4 win against Project 100, who have looked pretty strong this season, gets them through in that 4th seed from the playoffs. They play E-Wave in a quarterfinal, 7-5 loss on Oregon, then 7-5, 7-4 wins to sort of reverse sweep the series. And now they're here against MDF, who is probably the most formidable opponent that they have had, maybe since Minions, all the way back in their Group B.
Yeah, this really is the final sort of hurdle just to get to those finals, being MDF, this unstoppable titan throughout this whole season. So it's going to be an uphill battle for QuQ here. It's really going to sort of determine if they have that grit, that mentality, because I do think if QuQ even has a chance of winning this, it's probably going to go all the way. It has to go to all 3 maps. I don't see MDF getting sort of clean swept here. So it's really going to test the resolve of all 10 players in the lobby.
Okay, so let's have a look at the predictions then, because you're already saying, Joe, that it's going to be an MDF 2-0, right? Let's see if the community agrees. It looks like they do, and I'm honestly the same. I think MDF just look so much improved. Like, from the start of the season, they have just been on a tear. I don't really think that this is going to stop them. And before we were saying, you think that we won't even see an overtime, that it will be 10 rounds for QuQ or less.
Yeah, I think if QuQ get more than 10 rounds in this entire series, that should be a bit of a sort of concern for MDF here. Because if you look at the other finalists on the other side of that bracket, I don't think the Minions that are going into this finals would drop more than 10 rounds to QuQ here. That's sort of no slight on QuQ. It's just the fact that these are better teams. We've seen MDF prove that throughout this entire season. We have very high expectations of them. They've come first seed basically twice now in both the group and in the Swiss stage. They shouldn't be going to overtime here against QuQ. They need to sort of get on this strong foot going into that finals, or else Minions are looking like a much more dangerous opponent for them.
Yeah, and let's just have a little talk about Minions. We do have, obviously, if QuQ win this, then we actually see a Group B rematch from, like, I think probably, I'm pretty sure it's like the first play day of Group B. Actually, not quite. Like the second third, actually, sorry, I can't words. The third, fourth. One of the play days of Group B. One of the play days of Group B.
The days.
One of the days. I think it's the fourth day of Group B, but either way, that's all the way back at the start, and that was an 8-7 win for Minions. So Minions already in that grand finals. QuQ did take them to overtime, but that's all the way at the start of the season. And Minions, they also came second last tournament as well. So they're definitely no slouches either. But that being said, let's have a look at our map veto, see where we're going to be headed today, Joe. Clubhouse, Cafe Dostoevsky, and Skyscraper. Break down your thoughts on that. Obviously, QuQ got the first pick. Yeah, just what are your thoughts?
Well, I think initially Club, obviously, very default map, similar to Oregon in that kind of attribute of it. So it should be testing who has those better fundamentals. It is also quite even. So if, say, MDF are strong on attack, they'll definitely benefit from QuQ, from Clubhouse even. So we could very much see this game almost being determined in that first half if one of these teams has a very big breakaway, getting sort of 4 rounds on the board on either side, really, on that. You should expect to be seeing even. It could just be done there and then, especially because MDF have shown they're not very big fans of dropping rounds. You know, looking back at Swiss, only 4 rounds dropped over 3 separate best of ones. So incredibly strong team there. Going on to Cafe, again, quite a sort of known quantity, been in the game for years and years at this point. So again, it's going to just test which one of these teams has those basic fundamentals. A bit different from Club, obviously. You've got the window play. There's an extra sort of thing to worry about there. And then Sky is really where I see maybe QuQ could potentially make a bit of a comeback. It plays very differently. You know, very open map, split sort of straight down the middle, a lot of different sort of bizarre angles you can get throughout props. So it's certainly, if it gets to map 3, things could look a little bit dicey for MDF, but overall, those first 2 maps really sort of solidify an MDF 2-0.
Yeah. And one thing to mention about that as well is QuQ, they've actually played 7 of the maps in the map pool, whereas MDF have been able to get away with only playing 4. That's a power of, getting that 3-0 in Swiss. That's the power of, being able to make those runs. But we have managed to avoid all of the maps that QuQ have actually lost on so far in the season, them being Oregon, Bank, and Theme Park. Skyscraper, Club, and Cafe are actually QuQ's best maps so far in the season, and we haven't actually seen any Skyscraper from MDF at all. And Clubhouse, they've only played it once, which was that quarterfinal even against Tracker Clan as well. So lots of new stuff being breached in this game today. However, I expect Cafe Dostoevsky to go the way of MDF. They have a +12 round difference. They've played it 3 times. They look just incredibly strong on that map. But Cafe is for later, Joe. Now we have Clubhouse.
Yeah, indeed, we're getting to this ban phase straight away here. See that Thatcher taken off the board, so that's a little bit intriguing there. An operator that you don't tend to see meet the ban phase too much in competitive nowadays. There's plenty of other operators that fulfill that role, but I'm thinking they're trying to force the attack onto those impact DMPs and make them sort of do a bit more of a sort of guesswork to find out where things like those claws and those potential bandit batteries might be. Just designed at sort of slowing down the attack a bit more. And the same sort of logic goes for that Hibana ban. It's going to force the attack to swap around a bit, bring those hard breach gadgets, which just simply aren't as versatile as those pellets. So it's all aimed at slowing down the attack, and the Kayed ban potentially here just trying to speed it up again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thatcher and Kayed bans tend to go hand in hand. It's not really anything surprising to see Kayed go when you have seen Thatcher be banned out. And Fenrir as well is, one of the newest, I think, the newest defender. Very, very strong. This FNAT Dreadmine is going to be so oppressive for an attack, especially if this attacking side from QuQ that we'd see later on, especially if we see them be a slower attacking team. Fenrir's gadgets can be absolutely lethal when a team is slow on attack.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
Yeah, they really can. So getting with an operator immediately, it allows you to sort of spend a little more time on that roam clearing for Club. That's really necessary, particularly in this round. We're seeing that Solace being brought, who I imagine is going to be on a bit of more of a shallow roam. But as for Ollie on that Mozzie, he's probably going to be completely away from sight, around on that top floor, wasting time. Maybe even attempting something like a spawn peek, just do a bit of damage, keep MDF on their toes, because you can't let such a titan like MDF be comfortable in this matchup. You've got to keep them constantly worrying about what you're going to do, what kind of strats you're going to pull out, or else they're going to flatten you. So I would hope we're seeing a big roam here. It looks like Ollie has left the basement, so that just certainly support that. The Solace as well of Larry also out there. So I'm hoping that they are just going to be very aggressive early on, try and get that advantage, because if you let MDF sort of get away for too long without any blood being shed, they're going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be one of the things that we look towards. Is actually a little bit of background information, Joe, about some of these players. This MDF team actually has a lot of successful players in there. Hachi and Yuki were actually on that Entropy Gaming roster that won last season. Aina as well has been on that Penta roster that we saw dominate much of the competition in seasons past. So this team, they are used to winning, and that might just give them another edge in this series today. As we see this roam clear getting underway very, very quickly. Hachi and the Jaeger just make Jaeger? Jackal. Bloody on the Jackal, just making sure that none of these players are upstairs, using that Inox tracker to clear away those defensive positions.
Yeah, Variox tries to get through that breach, just wasting a little bit more time, and time is constantly being drained. It's a constant talking point here. Every second that's wasted is a second that is sacrificed from that eventual execute. Still, all those MDF players on that full HP, they're slowly making their way down here. Looking specifically at Aina, getting down those main stairs. His main objective here is going to be dislodging that mirror of EJ there. Can't allow him to maintain that position. Variox still playing a critical game, trying his best to deal with these defenders. Maybe getting a pick early on would be lovely if prevented that second half of the round. You kill that Florist as well. Big part of this attacking force can deal a lot of damage to the utility as he just sends those drones in. Again, more efforts aimed at getting that mirror off of the window. I think now the window has been destroyed by an ace charge, so it should be a lot more safe pushing down that main stairs, but still, we haven't found that all-important pick yet on the side of MDF, and that could really come back to hurt you as we enter the final execute. You're going to be on this even man count, and when the timer is on the favor of the defense, the attack are definitely going to disadvantage them.
Yeah, for sure. So as we see, there is that opening kill through the vertical. Variox takes out EJ first off. Kitchen Hatch, though, is still unopened. You have to use 2 Selma charges. They're all gone, and there's no hard breach charges left, so the Kitchen Hatch is going to be completely unassailable. Other angles of attack, then, for MDF, and it leads to another kill. Ollie taken down. Generator position, good for Just. Taking out Larry. Soda does have a trade, at least some form of response. Still a 4 versus 2. Kai finds the injury with the impact grenade. That's Yuki going down. And suddenly, QuQ might just be in this one. Aina starting to plant the defuse now. Kai trying to find the wallbang through the bar, but shots don't land. Soda as well, looking for the cutoff as Hachi rotates round from this Moto position, cut down from that main stairs. Soda's found another. It's now all on Aina. Got to try and swivel left and right. Finds Soda into a 1 versus 1. Kai still in Generator, and he gets taken down in a trade. And Hachi left alive in the inter inside of Moto, the deciding factor inside of that round. MDF find their first.
And that round sort of beautifully shows the fact that Siege at its core is an FPS. It's a shooter game. You get shot, you die. We've seen those MDF players sort of struggling to get all those openings up. Even commented, Kitchen Hatch close that point there. Once the MDF players can get in a position to take the gunfight, they absolutely run away with it. They keep on getting pick after pick. At one point, I believe it was a 5 versus 2, as the MDF players just keep on mounting this man advantage, keep on increasing it as the QuQ players, the defenders, are just sort of clueless almost. They don't have that same mechanical skill so far, which really shows that QuQ, they're going to have to get aggressive earlier, I think. You need to sort of get that man advantage in your favor, because if you keep going to executes, you're going to die. You're just going to lose these gunfights. MDF, they have gotten to this sort of point in the tournament for a reason. They have this incredible sort of scoreline throughout the season for a reason. It's the fact that they're so good when it gets down to the execute. So as QuQ, going back down to this basement, we're not seeing that on Mozzie anymore, so to me, that suggests they've actually gone to even more passive sort of setup here. Larry going to that top floor, but he might just be fishing for drones. We need to get a good pick early on. He's going for the spawn peak, but I don't think he's going to find anything. And just like that, he runs away. QuQ, they've not got an opening advantage yet, but they need to keep the pressure building.
Yeah, even though they managed to keep it in a 5 versus 5 until that last, minute, if not an even shorter time span, like QuQ just didn't find the success. I think they definitely need to find the opening pick here. It's not good enough just to try and waste that time, because we saw what MDF can do even when they don't have all of the utility. You know, again, commenting on that kitchen hatch.
Absolutely, they need but still, they're slinking around. They don't want to take gunfights. We're seeing QuQ players just running away. Sure, you're burning that clock, and usually it's a great job, great role the roamers burning that time. But for MDF, you've got to change up that playstyle. You have to be getting more aggressive. Kills are definitely the aim for the roamers, I'd say, in this matchup, because or else we're just going to get an exact repeat of that first round. A bit of damage goes the way of just here, though. So MDF already off to a bit of a weaker start. QuQ doing a little bit more, but as the hatches get open, it still puts MDF in a very good spot. Exact sort of same vertical work going on. Variox almost the exact same time as last round, just opening up that floor with the bug. So we are, I'm afraid we're going to just see a repeat of history here if the MDF players are allowed to play their game, to drop down, take these gunfights, as we still are seeing damage go the way of MDF. Very so low. That Solace is such a critical piece of the defense. Still being taken low. Yuki still got plenty of drones, by the way, as well, to just keep doing things. He finally runs out of them, but still the damage is done. 3 of those Flores drones actually had an impact there, so there's so much opportunity for MDF to find these kills. As the walls on Church get opened up. Yeah, impact trick failed as Yuki just makes it even worse. Takes on EJ, an immediate opening for MDF, as I think we're about to just witness history repeat itself.
Yeah, if you don't learn from the past, it threatens to become the future, and that's what we might be seeing in this round. Flashbangs coming through, all these magnets at least doing something, and there's a kill as well. This time it's not going to be a 5v2. There's an opening pick, making it 2 versus 4. 35 seconds on the clock. MDF starting sight, and Ollie's found his next through, and Hachi has the cutoff into a 3 versus 3. Effectively, as he finds himself down. Now confirmed into that equal player count. 20 seconds though. The Diffuser still rotating down these main stairs. If Variox dies here in this bottom position, that's the Diffuser surrendered, and now it is cold on the ground. Very difficult for to find a vantage position. Hachi has it, but now in a 1 versus 2 as Kai takes down Just, who himself just found a kill. Larry is on the prowl. Impact grenade. P90 shutting it out. Team QuQ find the kills they need to shut down the round.
Yep, and you know what, QuQ? I apologise. I wasn't familiar with your game when it comes to these gunfights. Maybe they do stand a chance after all. 1-1 now when it's come down to these final 60-second executes, and now they've won that site. They can go up to this top floor. Oddly, choosing Cash and CC, which is a site that has sort of worn out of the main meta, the main rotation recently because of the ease of getting that wall open. We're still going to have a potential for a bandit, but it's not being brought. Instead, just designed at wasting a little bit more time. We can certainly have the attack swap to an impact DMP operator. I don't believe they have anyone capable of bringing that yet. Obviously, just on that thermite is going to make easy work of that wall once he can actually use that gadget. So I imagine we're going to see a bit of an attacking swap here, and MDF, this site really benefits them a lot, I would say, because once they get that wall open, they can already start thinking about formula and execute, thinking about where they're going to go next. There's this player down below, I believe Mankai, looking to stick down there on the castle, just fortifying himself around. If they can get rid of him and they get that breach open, we could potentially see a very fast execute from MDF coming through. So Mankai, he is really going to have to survive here, just play his life, try to keep this threat going from below, because if not, MDF have a very easy way into the site. There's actually, they might be opting for a Maverick trick here. They've gone off of the thermite. This is very confusing. That thermite is usually a must pick for CC, but instead opting for Ace and Monty and Maverick. No EMPs.
Yeah, my question is here, if you're going to go for that sort of mash trick, I would honestly want to see like a Buck and Ash or a Sophia, right? Like, to be able to get it from range. Yeah, sure, you have Variox on the sledge, but I personally, if I'm playing sledge, I don't want to be walking up to that breach just hammering it out. I'd want some of that range utility going on there. But, hey, it's not up to me. It's not up to me, yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Yes, that's a phrase we've heard a lot over the weekend, isn't it, Joe? Interesting. As the push starts to come in, Yuki very quickly up here, and so much damage dealt from that impact grenade. EJ could actually find the kill here, he just doesn't know it. There's the pick onto Ada. Suddenly, EJ's caught in the reload, but Yuki goes back on the shield. Here's the other impact, down to 10 HP. Somehow doesn't kill him as Variox finds a trade.
Yeah, if Yuki can just stay alive, keep feeding this information, it'll do wonders for MDF as Variox and Just still picking up the slack. 3 versus 3. Just has actually managed to map that castle barricade. Maybe that's the strat we were missing. As Yuki still getting very aggressive, but he's on such low health, he doesn't need to do that. It worked, surprisingly. He gets 1, but 5 health on this 1 versus 2. Surely not doable on the Monty. He can't even get into the site without vaulting in, and Mankai just flanks around an MDF. Actually start this first sort of quarter of the map on the back foot. 2-1 to QuQ here. It's definitely off the back of an interesting round there. There was no, to what I saw, no clear attempt at a breach on that main sort of platform, which you tend to see at the very beginning of a CC attack. That didn't happen. Either way, QuQ, they're on the bedroom gym now. We're still seeing that Monty in play here, the ace too, so maybe MDF, they're just more comfortable using the Monty on this second floor. They want to at least use it on gym. They surely expect them to be going to gym now. That's the one sort of site, other than bar, which is a respectable site, but you don't tend to see it that much. So we're not likely going to see that much of a change. And as I say that, Yuki is actually swapped off of the Monty here, so I'm really not sure what the play was there initially. Either way, Flores being brought in, likely aimed at just that area denial again, particularly thinking that mirror in the shower position. You might want to just get that mirror player away from there while you can breach the wall instead. But it's still a little bit intriguing as instead, no, we're onto the Maverick once again. So that's 3 hard breach here and 2 sets of nades. So it's a very almost 2-dimensional attack being brought from MDF, and I'm not so sure if I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, actually, I'm wondering about this this jacuzzi wall as well, because from this angle it doesn't look like it's reinforced.
They got a window on shower? No, it's open. It's not just soft. It's open.
It's open. Right. Interesting.
They're getting aggressive. They must
be
trying to swing off of that shower.
Yeah, but it looks like there's going to be pressure on the other side of the map here, Jode. Obviously, with Just on this thermite opens this plat breach up, it should hopefully be dodging that mute jammer, or is it?
I think he might just be waiting.
He might just be waiting. Yeah, I don't know.
Fake.
The old bait and switch, as they say.
The old switcheroo?
Oh yeah, there it is. It's opened up, but that one is not. And actually, that mute jammer might be on the other side of the construction wall as well. We can see that that's been fully opened up by Yuki.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
There we go. Okay, so the breach has opened up that the mute jammer was in construction, not logistics. Interesting.
Yeah,
and
2 ace charges already used. Somehow, MDF, throughout all of this kind of mystery and intrigue, they've got out on a good foot forward just in a gunfight already. He's now essentially on a fragging operator, both of those thermite charges being used, so he can afford to get a little aggressive. Asking Larry, who does eventually find Variox there, but it looked a little bit questionable there.
What's going on?
It's been taken out. MDF solidifying this advantage. Mankai pushed all the way back as Hachi gets a nade kill. So QuQ now actually looking very weak, despite a lot of sort of slow offense from MDF to begin this. They haven't even been able to clear out shower yet, actually. Look, 2 of those ace charges muted, but they've already pushed so far in that it doesn't really matter here. Sutter gets 1, but a 1 versus 3 looks like another MDF round to me.
Yeah, as it does for me. That mirror window gets popped open as well. Has the shotgun. I know they've been buffed, but that's still ambitious from Souther. That range, yeah, not gonna do now.
Still, MDF, they've tied it up. They weren't a fan of losing at all, it seems. 2-2 now as we enter this final third of the game. Both of those still plenty of opportunities for one of these teams to sort of get that breakaway, get ahead, get the 4-2 position, and so far it has looked surprisingly even, despite how sort of dominant that first round was from MDF. We're going back down to said basement, so this could be an opportunity for either side to really solidify themselves as the better team when it comes down to the execute, when it comes to the clutch. We've seen both of them sort of explode into life in this final 60 seconds on those first 2 rounds, so it really is almost like a very pivotal point in this matchup, I'd say. Who can win this kind of, this third time around? Who can solidify themselves as the better sort of let's just gun team, because that has very much been what these 2 rounds have been on the defense. There hasn't been much sort of intricate utility play. It's very much just what the defenders doing a little bit in that early round, waiting for the attack to actually push, and then praying that they're better at the gunfight than MDF. And it worked once, it didn't work another time. So very interested to see how this pays off, as from both sides it seems like an identical lineup to that second round.
And another thing to point out as well is we've been seeing the impact tricks come through onto the kitchen every round. You know, they haven't been able to get that kitchen hatch open. And this time out, we've got 8 impact grenades. Like, QuQ wants to make sure that kitchen hatch stays closed. It's a lot. He's got the 1C4 as well, so again, a lot of that explosive utility from QuQ. And it's just, yeah, focusing on maybe finding a kill, but more importantly, if one of these players dies, they still have enough to open up the hatch. If Larry immediately spotted, dips back to the site within the first minute, that's your roam game pretty much exterminated already for MDF.
Yeah, it still seems like, despite the scoreline pressure, they're very afraid of MDF. You saw Larry, he is a very strong operator there. The P90, the SMG11, 2 incredible guns, but he doesn't even dare take that challenge against Just. He's just out of there. He goes all the way back down to the basement. And that is kind of a bit of an unsettling thing, especially if you are a QuQ fan here, because it shows that they don't even necessarily have faith in themselves when it comes down to the sort of gunfight. And obviously you can spin that in a way of, you know your strengths, play to your strengths, play to this final, execute, play to the map that favoured you on the basement. But at the same time, say Larry goes for that challenge, gets that pick, suddenly your Yana gone, it's a set of nades are out the window straight away. In fact, the only set of nades for that team, and that makes the attack a lot more difficult. So QuQ, they're still just playing very conservative, waiting for the execute teams to just try and win these gunfights. It might pay off still, but MDF just tearing the floor and currently getting all the sort of jobs they need. Is Ollie. That's a good start. Takes down Aina, the ace off the board, and the church wall might still be solid.
Yeah, that's a good start, especially as MDF of this time, they've opted to just not even try for that kitchen hatch, opening up blue and moto hatch instead. So that hard breach onto that area was massively pivotal for them. The ace going down is definitely not the pick you want. Ollie is now going to be feeling a lot more solidified in that church position, as now it's just pressure from this hatch that can really come through onto this church side. Last 35 seconds, the push forward from EJ finds success. Hatchy, though, has managed to find his way in. It's a 3 versus 3 as Yuki finds a pick, and there's another kill going the way of MDF. EJ at least gets one back, but now he's the only player remaining for Team QuQ inside of this round. Does have a C4 and at least find something. Hatchy getting the diffuser down, Just is on such low HP as well. He stopped planting. The C4, however, does not find purchase, but they don't know where EJ is. No! The mirror window should now find it, but Just has been taken out, and EJ loses the round. Team QuQ nearly had it handed to them on a platter there, but Just brought it back just in time.
Yeah, in fairness to MDF, I do think the Nitro was gonna hit the plant, but after seeing it get so close to that planted spot, it would have put the attack in a fantastic position already in the 2v1. Now having the timer on their side, obviously that didn't happen. Reposition came in from both sides, and QuQ, they nearly stole it away at the very end. EJ, my commiserations, you almost got it there at the end, but MDF, once again, the execute just prove how good they are, prove how phenomenal they are at getting these, isolating these gunfights, winning their 1v1s. And it's still been a sort of consistent problem for QuQ here, so yeah, I would hope that Larry on that Solace, maybe Ollie as well on the Legion, newly buffed, will just get out and about a bit more for a bit longer, try and provide a bit of just constant pressure throughout the room, because MDF, their room clear has been essentially unimpeded. Sure, you have Larry around in lounge, exchanging shots, usually with the Yana player of Just, but apart from that, QuQ really just don't want to roam yet. They are still picking these roaming operators. So just commit, honest. If they commit and they can get it early, a pick early on, particularly on a player like Aina or even Variox, just disrupting a key part of that attacking flow, they've definitely got a potential for a round win here. They just need to sort of stop getting in their own heads. Don't pay MDF that much respect. They're only 3-2 up, only one round between them. Just play into it, honestly.
Yeah. And would you say, Joe, the Clubhouse is attacker or defender sided right now in the current meta?
I would say I would honestly say maybe like the shotgun buffs that have disastrous consequences we're not yet aware of. I would say Clubhouse still leans to be even. Obviously, Siege, though, in general, is more defender-sided, especially sort of at the start of a match, because it's just a bit more of a comfortable side. But I would say Club is fairly even.
So if this is a 4-2 for MDF, then is it just over? Is the writing on the wall already if we get this 4-2 coming through? Because again, this is the 4th time we're seeing this basement site, and for MDF, it's just rinse and repeat. They're doing the exact same thing.
I think potentially, especially with MDF's track record on Oregon, they've won a lot of attacking rounds on Oregon. They've loved playing Oregon throughout this season. So I think combining sort of it being even with MDF being a sort of a team that can play into these maps that are very evenly sided, I think this is almost kind of one of those must-win rounds for QuQ. And they're still going in the basement, which still shows to me they are not very confident to go in these other sites. They're just going with what the stats favour here. 4 times in a row, as you've said. And it's the exact same game plan for MDF once again. Variox just tears up the ceiling. Aina creeps down those main stairs. It's all just rinse and repeat the exact same. Yuki sending those Flores drones down Moto Hatch. QuQ haven't really changed anything here unless they've managed to let Aroma slip by these MDF attackers. But I don't think so. No, Ollie, they're in church. Larry's also down in the basement. The exact same thing. It's all just a dice roll, really, when it comes to those gunfights at the end, and that's not the consistent key to success.
No, and I can already hear the Selmas popping off as well as we head into the final minute. Larry takes a lot of damage from just frag grenade, and the second one goes out this time with a fine purchase on any player HP. Not entirely sure about utility, and there's that vertical shot from Variox through the floor, takes out Souther for the opening kill in this round. The mirror windows being popped as well. Ollie's having to dip and weave between these breaches, and he still is able to find one. Taking down Yuki inside of Moto these last 30 seconds. Kai has now gone onto these stairs. Aina, though, still manages to get a pick into a 4 versus 3 advantage in the way of MDF. Doubled as Hachi finds another, and there's pushing down the main stairs even just with a kill. Kai now, only player alive, finds one onto Variox, finds another onto Just, or at least should be able to confirm this, making it a 1 versus 2. Plant though secured by Aina into this very difficult post-plant situation. Kai now inside a generator has 2 players to try and find, but so many side angles and can't clear the first of them. Hachi shuts it down, and it's a 4-2 split for MDF here on Clubhouse, Joe. And let's just say, last time around they played Clubhouse, they had a 3-3 attack and split, and then 4 defensive rounds. That was against Tracker. Now they already have 4 attacks.
Yeah, QuQ, they're just sort of showing exactly what happens when you play into MDF's game here, just offering gunfights in these final minutes. We see a disconnect here that's going to warrant a bit of a tech pause, so we should be back into the match fairly shortly. You can just see these replays on screen now. MDF really confident here as well. A thing I noticed in that final round, they were incredibly aggressive in that post-plant position. They weren't going back up to the ground floor. They weren't even retreating somewhere behind, so closer to the stairway. They were peaking those angles because they have the confidence in their own ability, and it's worked out. It's done wonders here. 4-2, heading onto the defense. They get to go to that basement immediately. That's probably, if things stick to the sort of trend of like global Clubhouse play, that's probably going to warrant a 5-2 scoreline here, unless QuQ can really come out swinging. They're bringing that Nook for a set of nades. The Yana as well, obviously. Can't see what their 5th operator selection is, as the player is still just joining back into this lobby, but MDF have really done a lot of the legwork already, getting that 4-2 attacking half, and the rest of this map, I don't want to cast a curse it, but it might just be a formality.
That's the way it's looking, isn't it? It looks like this game should just be overlooked. They've already had 3 rounds in a row as well, momentum very much on their side. The onus is now on QuQ, who only got 2 of their defenses to convert the, in my opinion, marginally more difficult side here on Clubhouse.
Obviously, when it comes down to gunfights, the attackers do have those better weapons. So maybe when it gets down to the execute in the basement, QuQ are just going to fire on all cylinders. They've got those ARs, potentially even a DMR being brought by Ollie. I'm not too sure. So it's certainly a possibility, but MDF, they've shown that they're strong on the defense countless times. They've shown they're strong on the attack, and they've proven that in this matchup 4-2. So very much, they are in a winning position right now. They just need to win 3 more rounds. They even just need to win 2 to get that match point to add even more pressure to QuQ, to really solidify that there's no more room for mistakes. So this should honestly be pretty easy for MDF here. They're going out of what looks to be a roam, only 3 on the basement so far. So if they already get off to a good start, getting a pick on that roam game, QuQ are going to be in a very dire situation. And MDF, they've shown already they're very willing to get aggressive. So these QuQ players really can't afford to get sort of comfortable and complicit early on.
Yeah, absolutely. As this time we're seeing a different form of approach from QuQ than we saw in that previous half from MDF. They were very focused on that sort of strip club side over on the west. This time we're seeing a lot of eastern pressure come through. That being said, Ollie and Larry are still over here on this western side pushing through. Just is going to be this first point of contact here, and this is really going to be that difference, whether we see a successful roam that finds picks from MDF, as Ollie's just making his way through, just has fallen back as well all the way to these main stairs. There goes the drone, and there goes the player as well, just running away. And again, we're seeing maybe not quite nerves or them being nervous, but a little bit hesitant to really be playing out on this roam. All 5 players back on the bomb site within that first minute.
Yeah, but at the same time, on the side of QuQ, there's a little bit of indecision here as EJ doesn't quite know where to go. Bringing that thermite onto a basement attack, really, I'm not quite sure what the play is there. There's no one for vertical. There's almost been it can't have been a misdraw, and obviously back in the day you kind of have to predict where your opponent would be. That's not a fact anymore. You have that repick. There's honestly almost no excuse for being tricked by a site there. So there's certainly some kind of play in the works, but the thermite charge is not even being used to hatch. So
such a speedy Maverick trick.
It's a very good Maverick trick, but also a thermite charge on there, but a bit faster. Still, the window is popped. So QuQ have an opportunity to start holding these longer angles. Nitrocell also wasted early, so the only kind of disruptive utility left in MDF are those 4 impact, or 6 impact rates, sorry. There is no kind of instant kill tool for any kind of planter here, as Suffer takes a bit of damage. Now 2 of them have dropped to murder, in fact.
Yeah, EJ as well, nearly finding the pick onto Aina. There comes some shots from either direction. Sother is down though from the other side of it. QuQ close to this corner, tucked in and trying to find a position, but it's QuQ who are finding the kills. Then spray down as Hachi and QuQ find picks to pieces. Now it's just on Kai inside of Generator. What can he do in this situation? Trying to find those picks, swinging around the boxes, getting any sort of positioning. Doesn't have the diffuser, doesn't really have much time as there is a collection onto the player. Hachi now retaking this vertical to make it incredibly difficult for the Yana of Kai to clutch up this round. But it's still possible with just a little bit of time as it comes down. QuQ takes the swing, ill-advised for it. Hachi on the hatch now falls back. Can't really take any of that away, and Kai is getting this plant down. Hachi, the decision making is now on him. Is he going to take this jump, trying to bait out the plant? But no, it's going to be stuck. He's going to take the drop, and Kai is ready, waiting, tries to go for the pre-fire. Sees these players right, cat and mouse round the corner, trying to find any sort of position, any sort of advantage that they can. This time though, the advantage is on Kai, but he only has 6 bullets left in his gun, Joe.
Oh,
this is going to be massive, but still opportunity for shots to land. Kai finds the clutch, the 1 versus 2. Plant does it all. And now that's round 14. QuQ, their first defense here as well on the basement as well. I mean, this site not working for the defensive teams.
No, really not. MDF, they're going to just try it again. It got very, very close. It looked like throughout that entire execute, MDF were on that front foot, getting that first down. Then the trades came in, but they still ended up on top. The real problem there, though, is the split up of the defenders. Sure, taking vertical can be very good, especially when that kitchen hatch is open, but I don't think that kitchen hatch was open, and even then, the attention was all towards Church, so there's no kind of vertical angles you can really hold there, and obviously they didn't know this, but Kai was on so low HP and had surprisingly little ammunition as well, so if they just took the 2v1 engagement head on, they probably would have won it out. Obviously, those are the things that the observer and everyone here sees. They do not know that, but still.
And hindsight too.
Yeah, hindsight as well, but it was probably a bad play in the moment, taking that vertical. Obviously, you get the confirmation that second player is in fact down, so that might have been sort of up in the air. They just wanted to do that to make sure they know they are very much in that 2 versus 1. But either way, those plays from the defenders just didn't quite work out. Now we're still seeing the thermite being brought here. Very much
I don't get it. I don't understand. I'd assume it was like a misclick or something, but although they're not playing, I guess. Ah, funny. But yeah, no. I don't understand the philosophy behind this thermite pick. And again, look at how quickly these roamers are falling back. We've not seen 15 seconds here, Joe. And already this roam is almost non-existent.
I think
I don't understand.
If one team actually makes that kind of confidence play and goes for the roam, I think you're definitely going to catch QuQ off guard. Because so far we have gone basically 7 to 8 rounds now.
Yeah.
Without the defenders roaming here. I think probably, 6 now on the defense without a roam. If you just play that roam here, these roam players we can see, they're getting a little bit more relaxed. There's only one drone just buzzing ahead. Larry kind of just face-checking things. If you just place a defender up there to wait just for 40-odd seconds, you could cause a lot of damage here. But still, both sides maybe feeling the pressure of this matchup. They just don't want to commit to it.
Yeah. It's again, it feels like an obvious thing from this perspective, but there's obviously going to be reasons why these teams are electing to not go for those sort of strategies. Maybe they just don't feel confident in their roaming abilities. That's obviously something for them to know and us to not even find out. We just sort of have to try and guess and speculate. But this is now going to be this pressure coming through. Hatch is being opened up this time. Southern's not quite doing the same successful job as we saw in that previous round. As time now very much in the hands of MDF. We've only seen, there's only 80 seconds left in the round, and still this vertical is not even close to being completed. But it's a similar story as in round number 1, in round number 2, in round number 4, in round number 5, in round number 6, in round number 7. It doesn't matter because this is Hatch. They can just go for these gunfights and they can win them out, as we have seen time and time again.
Yeah, they really can. And another kind of big point here is MDF. They're going very much in on these impact nades, and they use their nitro cell early, so when it comes to sort of that indirect damage, the nades of the attack, albeit there's only 2 at the start, Mankai can still get a lot of damage out there, and there's no real response from the attack other than the defense. Hogan is taking these gunfights. Kiki is going to attempt to take the gunfight on the window, ends up Veriox winning it instead. Mankai is also spotted in blue, so MDF already doing a much better spot here, but still, not all of those sort of players of QuQ have mobilized yet. There's still very much a chance to claw this back as Veriox taken very low. 4 versus 4 was almost on the horizon, said 5 versus 3, 2 now as MDF. They're starting to just collapse on them. Kai can't make those heroics work again, and it's just Ollie left alone, away from the site, 1 versus 4. This round is done and dusted. MDF get up to that 5-round point, but still, it was a bit messy. And they still might be kicking themselves over that last round, but a round is a round. You're 1 step closer to getting that map point, 1 step closer to winning this map in this series. So there's nothing too much to be upset about, but still, you're very much relying on these executes, and it's still just a roll of the dice. It's not consistent.
No, that is a lack of consistency. Again, just seeing some form of roam would bolster the defense massively. Obviously, maybe QuQ has some, they're like, oh, there's a roam, we can just rush through tunnel or something. They have some rush strat prepared just in case, but it would be something different other than just the same story repeating again and again throughout all of these basement defenses. So we've seen, 6 of them in the 8 rounds that have been played?
Yeah. They definitely like going there, and they aren't honestly doing too well on the defenders. I believe it's 3-3 now overall for the defender win rate on basement.
I think it's 2-4.
Okay, that does make sense, because they only won 1 defense. QuQ did it. QuQ only won 1 defense, and MDF just traded it back and forth then. So 2-4, not a great look at all there as we go into Gym Bedroom. An interesting thing here, Veriox is on that bandit. We might be seeing a bandit trick here, a little bit of active sort of utility denial from the defense, but for his position, maybe he's just doing it for the nitro cell. Still all 4 batteries in pocket though, so there is a chance he might go for it, and that Jacuzzi wall should be fairly fortified. There's likely going to be a castle barricade on the doorway, so Veriox should be pretty comfortable in that position, but it looks like QuQ aren't even going for it. They're just going for this full-on clear from that southeast side onwards.
Yeah, okay, now we see Veriox finally placing those bandit charges, 30 seconds into the action phase, don't worry about it. Because there isn't any pressure across this side. Maybe they're expecting the Maverick play from Southern, which we've seen both 2 rounds in the past, and indeed we are getting it again. EJ destroys his own drone, and there's a kill. The Maverick taken out, presumably through his own holes, and Larry gets the trade into a 4 versus 4 here, Joe.
Yep, and the damage is still done there. Obviously, the Bandit taken out, and I'd imagine the Maverick will have dealt with the... No, the batteries are still up, so you might have to rely on a nade play here, either through the drone hole or through that Maverick hole. He must have maybe been going from above, I'd imagine, to try and get a kill first.
Yeah.
Deal with that utility second, but either way, Souther's out of the round now, and that's still going to waste more of that precious time. Yuki, though, taken down incredibly low by, I presume, a nade from Ollie. He's cooking another one, so still health advantage in favour of Cook. And we've actually got an Azami here. I haven't seen her all match. I thought she was banned as a run-out from Yuki, so the Echo, a very valuable piece of the puzzle there, just giving himself up for free. I'm a little bit confused by that, but MDF now thoroughly on the back foot if Larry is picked up, that being. Just still playing around logistics as well. There's a sort of odd bit of silence here as both teams are just licking their wounds, recovering here after this engagement. Larry will get picked up. He was down on the roof, so that was likely going to happen as Cook are going to try and formulate a bit of a push here. They're likely going to go from construction and apply pressure through those windows. The logistics hatch actually might be on the cards from EJ here. Very risky if it takes. It was Larry actually, so even more risky. He's on such low health. I don't know if I like that at all.
And there's that Maverick hole that got Souther killed and Verux as well. But EJ's found a pick. Hatchie at least takes down Larry, but that's logistics control in the hands of Team Cook. Very good place to find kills from. Ollie sneaking up the backside, taking out Aina as well. Hatchie's now left in a 1 versus 3. He takes a rotation round, finds the kill, and he's able to get away, but not quite from Ollie. Rushes round and gets Cook back within 1. 5 rounds to 4.
Yeah, Cook just win it out once again in that execute especially, but even in the early round they were good at applying that pressure, albeit the Jacuzzi was heavily botched, but they were very good at adapting that. They just chose to go through those windows, fish for those picks throughout. Obviously a bit of that is on the faults of MDF. I do believe there was a run out by the Echo there, and well, the Echo has so much power and influence that around. You can single-handedly stop plants, you can help your teammates win gunfights with that intel, with that concussive blast, so I'm not sure if I'm happy with that play there coming out of Yuki, I believe it was, but still, 1 HP, you may as well try and go a little bit risky, I suppose. I believe these are the same picks MDF. Thorn is new. They had the Azami, which we didn't really see any of that utility.
And they had it Wamai before as well. Hatchie's now on the Mirror.
Yeah, Mirror as well. There's sort of more default picks that we didn't even see last round, so we could potentially see more success from MDF, especially having those windows to play behind. They can really sort of halt any momentum from the attack. Are they going to bother reinforcing this servers wall though? Aina finally goes and does it. There doesn't seem to be much of a utility sink here. There's no shield being played on top red, so they might just try and give this away for basically free, only costing some form of hard breach here. As I wouldn't think they're going to stick here unless Aina wants to get very aggressive on that rafters position.
Yeah, maybe catch them off guard, I guess. I don't know how well their droning has been over this side. Obviously, we saw EJ did have a drone inside of CCTV last time around, but the exothermic charge did take out his own drone. This time, Aina has been spotted on rafters, taking that rotation away, and that's a breach opens up as well. Aina's not stopping. He's all the way back to the bomb site, and this time Souther is being a little bit more careful on that breach. Ollie takes him down very low. Actually, no, that's just who's been dealt a lot of damage, but Verux is still forced back due to this line of Mavericks, and they've taken out those batteries as well on the breach, so this is very good signs from Team Cook first off, but that Maverick trick is interesting.
Yeah, I think it might just be a kill hole almost there. It's a nice adaptation to immediately go for those bandit batteries. It gives you the freedom later on if Larry wants to rotate or if EJ wants to get a bit risky. They can definitely get that jacuzzi wall open this time. So it's going to give them a lot more options if they come across a bit of adversity. Ollie, though, he's still playing from below, and these nades from below have proven to be particularly lethal just in the game as a whole in this round. I think we've seen one of them so far. This mirror position here from Hatchie is very risky. In fact, a Thorn Gadget I thought got a kill, but it is actually those nades from below from Ollie on the nuts. So already, that little play playing out wonderfully. Hatchie, though, getting very aggressive on that window. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that either. You really should just wasting time here. Finally, the thermite breach has pushed him away as MDF. They're kind of getting bottled around here. They're getting completely bottled in here. Aina is having to rotate around to try and provide a bit of support. And actually, They take down Larry, EJ low, MDF doing decently well so far against this onslaught from QuQ, but QuQ still have a lot of avenues in. They have a bit of utility, 5 flashbangs in pocket. They can definitely come at something with kill holes. Oh, finally, fair reward.
And Kai finds another kill as well, finally taking down Just. There's a proximity alarm, takes and gives away the position of EJ. Verex finds a kill as well, and so it's a 2 versus 2. Diffuser is down in construction as well, and just like that, MDF look like they're in a very good position, almost advantageous than QuQ, who had a substantial lead and possibly throwing it away here in this late round. No frag grenades left either, just the flashes from Souther. Very up getting low, and there's a lovely swing from Souther. Hachi has to just sit down after that one, and now site control is there. Zeriox inside a bathroom swung as well. These peaks from Souther just dealing so much damage, Joe. Like, those shots are ridiculous.
Phenomenal play from Souther there, and I believe
bring it back.
They're all tied up. Once again, QuQ, they look like they were on the back foot, but MDF, a bit of sloppy play there.
Oh, they're going back to basement. No.
Back to basement, so things already aren't bearing too well. But MDF just not really moving around there, staying sort of, well, just stalwart, holding their angles there, and Souther just picks them apart in the end game. We saw 2 nitros as well from those defenders, so they could have gone below. They could have tried to disrupt the plant that way. I'd imagine there would have been an attempt maybe behind the bomb site to get a plant down, so that's soft wall. Either way, the players MDF, maybe a bit too overconfident, choose to go for the gunfights, and it just doesn't end up working out at all. QuQ brought it back so far. Can they get it over the edge now? 2 more rounds required for either team. We will be going to at least all 12 here, potentially overtime as well as MDF. They're very, very confident here, going down to basement, a site that we were just talking about hasn't had the best track record this matchup. Still, there is potential for a bit of roaming action. Aina finally going for a deep roam, it looks like. Look, all the way on Garage here, destroying those drones, so he might just be sticking with his guns up here. Even reinforced, oh, no, going for a punch hole, maybe a bit of a bait, I guess, a bait, but I just hope he stays up there, because a roam here, after like literally 10 rounds of no roaming at all, gonna catch him off guard, surely.
Did they spot him? Drone comes in, definitely been spotted now, but this time feigning that run away, this time staying back. Another drone being invested here. This time, will Aina shoot it? Yes, he will. Is he going to probably fall back this time or not? He is. The rotation's cut off by Ollie. Drone not working out for MDF. And yet again, they just try and fall on back, and QuQ were expecting it. They already have the advantage here, Joe, within the first 45 seconds. And now this onslaught can continue, taking all of this control. There's no more roamers, and there's not really any more opportunity to go for those upstairs plays as this QuQ attacker looking to suffocate them on that basement floor.
Yeah, slight adaptation from QuQ here. They're using the sledge this time, which does inherently have that risk, but MDF have only ever really used 1 nitro cell in their defenses here. That's on Yuki, so it's not that risky anymore. Obviously, the book is a more safe option. You can do that soft breach from a distance, but still, the potential here for Ollie to get taken out indirectly through some kind of explosive utility, but I don't think he will. Yuki, on that mirror, probably going to stay around Church, holding down that main angle, and finally, a thermite charge is used in the basement match. They get rid of that moto hatch there. Potential even for a kitchen hatch as well if they want to defend against these impact tricks. Potential to bait these defenders into going for these impact tricks as well. MDF here, really on the back foot now as hatches and walls start to open. Nades and flashbangs coming in. There's a drop already in Moto. Very early main stairs pressure coming out as well. The breach there. Oh, a beautiful shot from Sutter there. His 3rd great shot so far. We get a double on the round. Finally taken down by Hachi in a 1 versus 4.
Well. Somehow, I'm lost for words in that one, to be honest. Interesting. And there you go. QuQ on 6.
I was very disappointed by that run, because you had multiple MDF players, and I am not gonna exaggerate here, literally twiddling their thumbs in sight, looking through mirror windows, when they could be assisting the roamer out there. It was all left, I believe, on
attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs
I think,
as they can.
on that roam on the warden, just alone. throughout Garage, throughout Lounge. There were players in MDF who had nothing to do throughout the start of that round. They could have assisted, and yet they did not. Could just pick apart that single roamer, because there's been no sustained roam game throughout this entire match. There have been no reinforcements sent to these roamers really at all. And it has allowed the attack to essentially barrel in, get all of their setup done pretty quickly, and then get down to site and just start winning these gunfights here. Basement, I believe 2 and 5 now on this map. So it's really just not a good look for the defense here, and it's not a good look for MDF, as now they're staring down the barrel of this match point. I don't think that is something that's ever happened to them. Maybe in that entropy match they might have made it to 6 first, but aside from that, this is uncharted territories in ESA for MDF here. It's really going to be intriguing to see how they react to potentially being served up a loss here as they enter what could be their final defense in Clubhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. This might just be it all over. And well, I've seen some predictions as well that QuQ might actually take Chalet. Obviously, this map was Team QuQ's pick. You would maybe expect them to win it, but MDF have just looked so strong throughout the tournament, and well, this time they might just be fumbling here on a bar stage defense. Ollie's already taken low inside of Kitchen. And he's just managed to dip away. This time, QuQ are at least facing a little bit of pressure on the road. The top floor is being held under the control of MDF. But, hey, I mean, it's still very quickly coming through.
Yeah, Kai can just keep fishing for kills through these windows, and Nate being cooked, so he's already got a lot of sort of freedom here to just challenge these kills, apply a bit of pressure while the rest of his team charging through. The drone work is good from QuQ, as is the advance, but just, there's something to say, takes down Sutter, who's been kind of a star player in these past few rounds, despite not actually going positive on that kill count. He's had plenty of impactful moments on that Maverick, so QuQ, they might be stopped here a bit. They can't really afford to go all in on that top floor clear as of yet with Sutter going down. There's been potentially a bit of change of plans. Ollie drops down, just reaches open that bar door, trying to apply a bit of pressure. Ada, though, takes down another, and MDF, they look to be winning on bar so far. The roam game paying off, the support above paying off.
Finally!
Yeah, 12 times the charm for the defense, I suppose, as they're finally investing significant utility off-site here. They've got that Echo as well. They just keep pinging, keep giving that intel. The Echo even going further down the basement, preparing for that push as he feels completely safe down there. QuQ do not have the resources to hunt for him. As they enter this final 60 seconds, QuQ, it's really now or never.
Yeah, EJ is just getting some drone information on the site, spots out Just, but then the drone goes to get taken out. EJ as well is looking wary of this vertical pressure. Obviously, Larry has the cutoff, but only on about 10 HP, could get double swung. Then it's all over. EJ as well, damage on the site from Just, but there is a push in from Ollie, taking out that Yokai drone as well, but that time continuing to tick for this attack. And there is Larry going down upstairs. Suddenly, this round just very, very unsafe, as there's a swing from Yuki. EJ, last one left, 1 HP, trying to find anything, but can't. Overtime beckons, as it's a flawless round from MDF. Just ridiculous that we've got this far, because of 7 defense rounds on the basement, 2 of them won by the defense. Decision-making from both of these teams is horrific, and we're seeing bar stage yet again because MDF have finally found some success. This is the only site they've actually won on defense other than that one basement, and they do not want to be going back down there because they weren't even successful on gym and bedroom the 2 times.
Need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
We were sort of intrigued to see how MDF would react when they have their backs against the wall, a very sort of rare circumstance, and they've proven that they can definitely survive in that situation. Flawless there. There's still a lot of life in this squad as of yet. They're still looking to take this first map of Clubhouse, which we might have written off, honestly, after seeing that performance in the first sort of 11 rounds. When it came down to that round 12, I thought QuQ was going to take it with MDF. They've kept it going. They've entered OT. They've gotten that bit of a safety net around them now. They aren't 1 round away from losing. Once again, we're seeing investment on this top floor. I like that. That's good. Keep your roamers up there. Keep them together. Play for trades. Play for man advantage. It's very, very strong. And that's why a lot of teams tend to do that all the time. You thought when you sort of play the game right, you start winning rounds on the defense. So it's up to QuQ if they can try and isolate a pickup here. If they can just try and use that utility. Obviously, there's not any potential for those vertical nades as the site is below the roamers, but you can still definitely try and just sort of maneuver around that utility. There's plenty of soft breach, plenty of hard breach as well. There's nades too. They just need to try and isolate a couple of these frags and keep the ball rolling from there.
And again, like we've been saying, it's a similar sort of look for this round, but QuQ now, they have that information of that previous round, so this should be different. We can already see Ollie inside of the basement, making sure there's no cheeky echoes like Yuki sneaking around down here to try and take the round with those yokai drones. So that at least clears that area of the map for now. Obviously, there's still opportunity to rotate down later on, but not anymore, because Ollie has found the kill onto Yuki and now rotating up to join his team on the roam clear. Very successful first minute for QuQ as they look to continue this advance.
Yep, absolutely. That first hit crucial on the Echo. They can now feel a lot more safe about potentially going for more of a last-minute execute. You don't have the imminent threat of the yokai drone disrupting the plan, and that means they can spend a lot more time on this top floor, which they really just sort of couldn't penetrate in round 12. They're once again trying to fish for kills around these windows, potentially baiting MDF, just over-swinging a little bit. Touchy though, over-swings and gets a beautiful pick onto Larry there, and now puts the ball back in MDF's court. It's up to Sutter now. He has two nades. He can try to flank them around behind that mirror window, but it's also very risky. Why am I playing in that position? Burn comes out. He still has discs in pocket, but he's just going to play very defensively. He doesn't need to be there all the time, as now the Thermite player actually just walks right in. No nades required. That's very efficient usage of the utility as Sutter takes on Hachi. MDF now once again in a bit of a precarious situation.
Aina is in such a dangerous position here. He's been spotted out with a drone. There's already players inside of bedroom, or at least on the window. It's going to take him down. Veriox finds one, and Ollie's been taken down in the frost mat. Veriox and just finding kills into a 3 versus 2 MDF. They're not out of this round just yet. Kai has been on 16 kills for a few rounds now. We need to see him having impact. We need to see EJ as well stepping up to the scoreboard. 4 and 12 right now. The possibility to at least extend that to 7 to have some impact in this round, because this is one that QuQ really need, and Veriox is just not ready for that player on his right. The flashbang comes on through. Kai jumps on in, and there's the collection from EJ. Up to 5 kills now in the match, and it's a 2 versus 2 for MDF and QuQ. But the time is such a massive factor in this one. EJ, they look like they're pushing for kills. QuQ are going to be in such a big position. EJ has taken out his teammate. The cross from Kitchen, just too good for MDF, and Aina's there for the collection on the final one. Calamity in bar stage at the final moments, and MDF, they find map point.
Heartbreaking round for QuQ. That really was. They looked to be finally breaking through, winning that attacking round on that bar stage site that gave them such grief on round 12. They nearly had it. They dealt with an upstairs roam, but with no time left, things just didn't go their way. Add on the team kill, kind of just salt on the wound in MDF. They make it to an all too familiar situation now themselves, being on match point. They're in the advantage. They only need one more round to take the map here, as we're seeing basement.
Oh my god.
Brought once again. QuQ maybe learning from MDF's tactics in those previous 2 rounds. Maybe they're going to commit to a roam, actually protect their roamers, solidify themselves as a team that can roam. You would hope, because Basement has had a very poor track record for the defense, and this could potentially be QuQ's final round in this match here. I was going to say nothing too out of the ordinary from MDF, but we're seeing Ying and Fuse, so potential for a very explosive, pun intended, execute here as you start using those Fuse charges, use those Candelas to blind and dislodge those defenders down in the basement. Veriox as well, almost swapping off that soft breach, which would have been very intriguing, but instead we're seeing 4 hard breach charges being brought in, so that's 3 hatches plus item. 8, yeah, 4 sets. My apologies. That's potentially a bit overkill there. Sure, they're not the biggest, but there's only so many sort of entry points you can reach. Surely.
Yeah. Did you like my sound effects, by the way? I hope you appreciate.
Yeah, the fish.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it without you, honestly.
Truly the backbone of this duo. Anyway, yeah. Well, actually, now that we have those, just a plethora of hard breach charges, we can see a lot of pressure coming through on dirt that can get all of these hatches open as well. The only problem is that ranged hard breach that you would get from an ace on that bottom bottom main wall onto church, right? That's where you'd be
Right.
looking to have an ace. But if they're just not even focusing on that area, then I don't really see the problem. Ain has taken a little bit of damage, and this position from Ollie could be everything. He's going to take his time swinging round, but the drone has spotted him out. This one could be huge. Verox and Hachi taking a lot of damage, but Ollie's in a very difficult spot himself, head on a swivel, trying to find any of these kills, and more importantly, trying to stay alive in this one as he just rotates away.
But now here's the glorious part about Ollie's play here. He doesn't need to get a kill now. He just needs to survive. MDF, they've noticed him. They're a bit shook. They can't afford to really commit to a push here. So if Ollie occasionally just fires the odd shot, lets them know he's still around, he could have a lot of impact. But instead, potentially getting a bit greedy, goes towards the bar, then goes back to site. So that's another player back in the basement now. It's all going to be once again up to that 5 versus 5 execute. This time MDF going through the tunnel, and Larry gets one to Verox. Immediately good start, but just trades it again.
Oh my god.
So they're taken down, flurry of kills in that dirt tunnel there, and MDF end up on top.
Yeah, as I believe that the actual feed is taking a few issues here, but it is a 4 versus 2. Here we go. He does find one fight a second, but there's the collection from just swinging through. It's a 1 versus 3. EJ to keep his team in this map, to keep his team in the game. Yuki trying to find this pressure with the Monte. C4 out takes him down to at least 20 HP, but still standing. Ooh. There's the knife kill from EJ, but just has got that planted. There we go. Connection finally coming through. 40 seconds. EJ now swinging his way around main stairs, trying to find these shots left, right, and centre. Hops on through and taken out just with the collection there, and it's going to be MDF who are victorious on this first map. Well,
yep, and they did it.
Was interesting.
You know,
basement. What was that? 2 and 6 now, I think. 8 of the 14 rounds on that site, and only 2 of them will route 1 by the defense. That is not what you want to see. It's really not.
It was a interesting match for the defense on Clubhouse there. But, you know, at the end of the day, MDF won it. They keep that ESA winning streak alive, a streak that started at the very first play day of their group. So they've had, I believe, 1 other overtime win. So it's not exactly new territory for them, but still, they might be a bit shook from that because QuQ, I think, were putting up more fight than MDF expected there, particularly when it came down to those executes. They really did manage to match MDF. When it came to gun scale, it was just when MDF sort of learned about roaming. They went on like a Siege school video. They learned that roaming is a concept, and they managed to sort of drag it over the finish line there. It wasn't clean by any means, but MDF still end that map 1-0 in the series, potentially looking to take it in 2 as we head off onto Cafe.
Yeah, that map was Team QuQ's map pick, and they brought it to overtime, but couldn't find success. MDF 1-0 up, and now their own map pick, Cafe Dostoevsky, after the break. Don't go anywhere.